Hello everyone! In this video, pag-usapan natin ang SMC at Petron. Ginawan ko ng stock analysis para malaman kung maganda bang mag-invest sa dalawang malalaking companies na ito sa Philippines. Nag-offer ulit ng fixed rate bond ang SMC. 20 billion pesos yung recent offering. So, panibagong utang ulit ito ng SMC. Isa rin ako sa merong pautang sa SMC kasi kumuha ako ng SMC Global Power Bond noong 2019. Wala akong common stocks ngayon ng SMC and Petron pero meron akong preferred shares ng dalawang companies na ito. Yung net proceeds ng 20 billion pesos bond offering ay gagamitin sa Manila International Airport, other airport-related projects, and redemption ng ibang bonds na malapit na mag-mature. Kung bago ka sa aking channel, meron akong ginagamit na framework as guide sa pag-evaluate ng stocks. Natutunan ko ito sa Value Investing College noong 2018. It's a simple method. Merong 4 key metrics na titignan plus yung economic mode. We want to buy good businesses that are financially strong and profitable based on this framework and then buy them at sensible price. Sa economic mode, merong 2 questions na kailangang sagutin. What are the products and services? And can it sustain or grow in the next 10 years? Let's start with SMC. San Miguel Corporation is one of the largest and most diversified conglomerates in the Philippines by revenues and total assets. SMC has 5 key business groups. So this includes food and beverage, infrastructure, packaging, fuel and oil, and energy. Yung F&B, Ginebra San Miguel, and Petron are also listed separately in the stock market. In addition, SMC has investments in other businesses such as property development and banking services. Sa stock price history, hindi na tumaas ang share price ng SMC since 2020 nung nagka-pandemic and sideways ang share price until now. Nag-grow ang revenue ng SMC over the past 10 years. Ang 10-year revenue growth rate ay 7%. Kaya lang sobrang baba ng profit margin ng SMC, negative 0.4% noong 2023. Here's the revenue and expenses breakdown. Bulk of the revenue ay galing sa fuel and oil, followed by food and beverage, and then energy. Sa expenses, sobrang laki ng kanilang cost of sales. The cost of sales includes the direct cost associated with producing and delivering the goods sold by the company. And negative ang earnings ng SMC noong 2023. Sa profitability, we will look at the earnings per share. Ang criteria sa EPS ay it must be consistently positive and growing. Affected ng pandemic ang SMC noong 2020 kaya negative ang EPS. Noong 2022 and 2023, negative din ang EPS. Kaya hindi na-meet ng SMC ang criteria natin sa profitability. Sa inflow of cash, we will look at the operating cash flow. Gusto natin mag-invest sa companies with consistently positive operating cash flow. Ito ang itinuro sa Value Investing College. All cash flows are important. However, operating cash flow is the most important because it shows whether a business is able to make money from its operations. And operating cash flow cannot be manipulated. SMC currently has positive operating cash flow. This shows that SMC is able to make money and collect money from its operations. Kaya lang meron siyang 1 year with negative operating cash flow. Kaya hindi rin na-meet ng SMC ang ating target dito sa inflow of cash. Next na titignan natin is efficiency. So, ginagamit dito ang return on equity. Ang conservative target sa ROE ay it must be consistently 15% and above. Pero I compared the company's ROE with industry's average pag below 15% ang ROE. SMC has a negative ROE as it is currently unprofitable. In terms of financial health, sobrang taas ang debt-to-equity ratio ng SMC. More than 200%. Nasa 1.44 trillion pesos ang utang. Ang conservative target sa DE ratio ay 50% and below. The optimal DE ratio varies by industry, but it should not be above 200%. So in this case, above 200% na ang DE ratio ng SMC. So hindi rin niya na-meet ang ating target na low debt to equity ratio. Mababa rin ang interest coverage ratio at 2.1. According to Investopedia, an interest coverage ratio of at least 2 is considered the minimum acceptable amount for a company that has solid, consistent revenues. So, nasa borderline ang interest coverage ratio ng SMC. Meron ding dividend ang SMC. Mababa nga lang at 1.4% dividend yield. And consistent na nagbibigay ng dividend ang SMC in the past 10 years. Nagbibigay ng dividend ang SMC maski negative free cash flow. Here's the performance summary of SMC based on the 4 key metrics na tinignan natin. So, hindi na-meet ng SMC ang criteria for the 4 key metrics. Sa economic mode, SMC has multiple businesses. And yung sa mode question number 2, can it sustain or grow the business in the next 10 years? I believe SMC will continue to operate in the next 10 years. 10 years ang maturity ng bagong bond offering nila. And growing ang revenue ng SMC over the past 10 years, kaya lang below the target na 10%. And yung sa earnings, hindi rin nag-grow over the past 10 years. Pero sa dami ng upcoming projects and palaki ng palaki ang utang ng SMC, eventually baka mas maging profitable na rin ang SMC. Okay na ako sa preferred shares for now kasi priority ng company ang magbigay ng dividend sa mga preferred shares. Pero sa common stock, hindi ako mag-invest sa ngayon based on the results of my analysis. In terms of valuation, SMC is currently undervalued based on its price to sales and price to book ratio. Next na pag-usapan natin is Petron. Petron is a subsidiary of SMC. Petron Corporation is the largest oil company in the Philippines, operating the country's only remaining refinery. Declining ang share price ng Petron since 2016 and from 2020, flat na ang share price until now. Nag-grow ang revenue ng Petron over the past 10 years. Ang 10-year revenue growth ay 6%. Mababa din ang profit margin ng Petron, 0.3% noong 2023. In terms of profitability, Petron is currently profitable pero hindi nag-grow ang kanyang EPS over the past 8 years. Affected din ng pandemic, kaya negative EPS noong 2019 and 2020. So, hindi rin na-meet ng Petron ang ating criteria sa profitability. Sa inflow of cash, Petron has positive operating cash flow. Pero meron siyang negative operating cash flow noong 2022. So, hindi rin na-meet ang target na consistently positive operating cash flow. Sa return on equity, ang baba ng kanyang return on equity. So, below the target na 15% and lower versus industry's average of 9.1%. Sobrang taas din ang debt to equity ratio ng Petron, more than 200%. So, it should not be above 200%. So, hindi rin na-meet ang low debt to equity ratio na target. Mababa rin ang interest coverage ratio at 1.9. Petron's interest payments on its debt are not well covered by earnings before interest and taxes. Meron ding dividend ang Petron, nasa 3.3% ang dividend yield noong latest payout nila. Hindi lang consistent kasi walang dividend payments noong 2021 and 2022. Mababa lang ang payout ratio kaya dividend payments are well covered by its earnings. So, here's the summary of Petron based on the 4 key metrics na tinignan natin. Hindi rin na-meet ng Petron ang ating criteria sa 4 na key metrics na ito. Sa economic mode, Petron is the largest oil company in the Philippines. Can it sustain or grow the business in the next 10 years? Growing naman ang revenue ng Petron over the past 10 years, though below the target na 10% growth rate. Kaya lang yung sa earnings, hindi nag-grow kasi ang baba ng profit margin ng Petron. So, okay na ako sa preferred shares ng Petron for now and priority ang preferred shares sa pagbayad ng dividends. Sa common stock, hindi ako mag mag-invest based dito sa results ng aking analysis. Petron is currently undervalued based on its PE ratio and price to book ratio. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.